part of D-Star. The gateway uses basically a Linux box running CentOS and the special software. There's also a DV dongle that's just been recently released at the Dayton Hamvention, and that allows you to play D-Star, and you don't even have to have a radio. Now, you have to have a call sign, and they make sure you are who you say you are. But other than that, I mean, and it's the same thing with some other modes like Echolink. I'm just going to drop some names here. IRLP. Those are all ways to link, whether they're analog or digital, all of these places together over a TCP/IP connection, whether that be the internet or a private network or whatever.
Of course, that's not off-the-grid communications, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah. So not really exactly off the grid unless you're making, again, unless you're making the grid yourself. You know, you could tie two places together that are far apart with a 2.4 gig link that you put in yourself. Here's, just to give you an idea, this is the D-Star network as it stands right now. Believe it or not, Alabama has put in a massive system that's been partially funded by the state.
Cape May, New Jersey has a full system now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how up to date.
July '97.
and there's one that just went on the Empire State Building, UHF one, and Georgia, where I'm from, is also working with Georgia Public Broadcasting, and they're going to have a system on every GPTV tower in the state, and that's going to be linked together with GPTV's private backbone over fiber. Now, of course, you're dealing with the state, so if you want to use this for a protest, I can pretty much guarantee you they'd be listening. But there's interesting technologies out there, and whether they be digital voice, you can also use the D-Star radios to do what you guys would consider very slow speed data transmission, 1200 baud or 9600 baud, or the fastest one is 128K. Okay, and they call that, the 128K, they call the high-speed data channel. Okay, so it's all relative, okay? But those are some of the technologies that are out there. If you have specific questions, you know, you can hit us, come see us, don't hit us, come see us at the radio station. But if you have questions, ask some now.
There's going to be...
Please come up to the mic, though.
Yeah, there's going to be an amateur radio station set up. We got a special event FCC call sign for the Hope Conference called W2H, and that license station will be set up outside the conference, outside the ballroom here, probably in an hour or so, and we'll answer more questions up there for all day.
And whether you're a ham or not, I encourage you to go Google for Hamfest in whatever your local town is. And there's always some. I mean, they're going to be small, they're going to be big, depending on where you are. But they're really great. There's a lot of used electronic gear that's on computer equipment that's not just ham radio stuff. But if you go to Dayton, the Dayton Hamvention, hamvention.org, that is the big one in the United States. If you are from Europe, the big one in Europe is Friedrichshafen, and they're both great experiences if you get to go over there. Friedrichshafen, Germany is right across the lake from Switzerland. You can fly into Zurich and then take the train. I've done it one time, wish I could go every year, but it's great.
Those two events are the largest gatherings of communications geeks in the world. It's really fascinating, and you can buy a lot of surplus equipment there for dirt cheap. And
that's where I met Ed. He walked up to the booth. I'd never seen him before. I had heard him on Off the Hook and recognized his voice.
We'll take questions.
Okay. I have been wondering how specifically the type of material that radio waves have to go through affects it. I assume that metal is bad because it creates a Faraday cage, but for example, I know that a lot of people stand near the window to use their cell phone. Is that actually a good thing to do?
Right. Typically, as the frequency increases okay. Typically, as the frequency increases, the absorption increases as well. So as you get higher in frequency in the VHF, UHF, and then up to microwave frequencies, you'll tend to find very high absorption in most common materials. So cell phones are kind of probably close to the upper limit of where we're going to be able to be with without having to be outside and being line of sight to the transmitter. 2.4 gigahertz works pretty well, and much above that, the absorption starts to get pretty high. So.
It's a good question. We have a lot of people to ask. They're here with questions. We only have like 2 minutes left, so we're going to take the questions outside there because we have a couple things to give away. So sorry you're in line here, but there's just not enough time to get all these questions. But you can ask them outside in a few minutes. There's a couple of magazines, three magazines out that address the topics we're talking about for both amateur radio and non-licensed communications. The latter, there's 2 magazines. One's called Monitoring Times. It's worth checking out. The other's Popular Communications.
I hear they have a good writer.
Popular Communications gave us 3 gift subscriptions, so we're going to have to give them away somehow. How are we going to?
So I guess what we thought about was, can anybody tell me what that's saying? Yes.
Got to put the camera.
What does it say? Hope. It says hope.
All right. You
here.
got one.
Congratulations. Thank you. We had to do one really, kind of an old school way to win a prize, right? I mean, that's a talent right there.
2 more gift subscriptions to give away here. I don't know. How are we going to do this?
I'm afraid that if I change the message and try again, it's going to not work.
Somebody raise your hand and I'll pick you out. All right, this guy here, and then
how
more time.
about the guy in the guy in the black shirt? What's You're right there. Yes, come on up.
Okay.
I
And
saw you had a handy talkie on. So
there's a box. We have a box here of 200 copies of various issues of Popular Communications to give away. So we'll be giving them away at the table up here with the ham radio station. And the biggest prize is a pair of these tri-square frequency hopping spread spectrum radios. And we got to figure out some way to fairly give this away. I know everybody wants these things, so you can, if you don't win them, you can still get them from Tri-Square.
Just turn the speed up and see if we can get somebody who can read something.
I don't know. We got to figure out a quick, fair way to give these away.
Maybe you should give one to one person and one to another person and see if they get to know each other.
Then they have to talk to each other.
I changed the message.
You don't want to give it to just hams, though. Come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
See, this
true.
is a non-amateur radio. Although it's interesting, these radios share the amateur band, the 33 centimeter band, so they can use both for amateur and non-amateur communication.
So
Right,
you could in fact plug take this thing apart, plug it into actually a 10 watt amplifier legally.
if you're a ham.
If you're a ham
All right.
and
You see,
don't burn yourself.
Who wants to win these things, and I'll just pick somebody out that I don't know. This woman here in the second row.
She was very enthusiastic about it.
She really was. She was like all over the place. All right, meet us up at the table here in a little while.
All right, so
we're out of time.
I'm sorry we're out of time, but we'll be back at the table for a while and answering your questions. So just peel up to us. Thanks.
Thanks for coming.